Imagine you're walking alone beside a river in Japan. It's late at night. The sun is gone, the road is empty, and the only sound is the water moving through the darkness. Then you see someone, a woman. She's standing near the river, wearing a long, soaking wet robe. Her hair hangs over her face, and she's holding what looks like a baby. She notices you, and then she asks you for a favor. Please, hold my baby. Now you're probably thinking, sure, why not? Wrong answer. Because according to an old Japanese legend, that woman isn't human. Her name is Nure-Onna. The name roughly means wet woman, and she's one of Japan's strangest creatures. She's described as having the upper body of a beautiful woman, but below the waist, a massive serpent. Basically, imagine meeting a beautiful woman by a river, only to discover she's secretly an enormous snake. Not exactly the kind of surprise you want on a peaceful evening walk. But here's the terrifying part. Nure-Onna doesn't always attack immediately. Instead, she uses something much smarter. A trap. One legend tells of a traveler who encountered her near the water. She was holding a baby and asked him to carry it for a moment. Feeling sorry for her, the traveler agreed. But the moment the baby touched his arms, something felt wrong. It was incredibly heavy. The traveler struggled to hold it. His arms began shaking. He tried to put the baby down, but he couldn't. And then he looked at the woman. She was changing. Her human appearance began to disappear. Her body twisted. Her skin became monstrous. And suddenly, the traveler realized the horrifying truth. The baby wasn't a baby. It was bait. The woman wasn't asking for help. She was hunting. And now the traveler was standing directly in front of Nure-Onna, while holding the very thing she had used to trap him. But there's one more problem. According to the legend, Nure-Onna isn't just strong. She's incredibly fast, and once she decides you're her prey, running may not save you. The traveler looks around. The river is behind him. The forest is ahead, and the creature is getting closer. He has only seconds to make a decision, because whatever he does next could decide whether he walks away from that river or becomes the next person to disappear into the darkness. The traveler knew he had seconds to act. The creature was getting closer, but instead of running, he did something unexpected. He dropped the baby, and the moment it hit the ground, it didn't move. It didn't cry. It just sat there, heavy, silent. The traveler finally understood. Whatever that thing was, it had never been alive. He turned and ran. Behind him, he heard something enormous sliding across the ground.
Hiss!
Nure-Onna was coming. The traveler sprinted through the forest, branches hitting his face, his feet slipping on the wet ground. But then he heard her voice. Come back! He didn't. You can't escape me. He kept running. And then, he saw something ahead. A small wooden shrine. The traveler ran toward it and slammed the door behind him. Silence. He waited. Nothing. For several minutes, there was no sound. Maybe, just maybe, he had escaped. Then he heard something outside. Scratching, slowly. Something was moving around the shrine. The traveler held his breath. A shadow passed underneath the door. Then another. And suddenly, the entire wooden building shook. Boom! He jumped back. Nure-Onna had found him. The creature began circling the shrine. She knew he was inside. But according to some versions of the legend, Nure-Onna had one weakness. She couldn't enter sacred ground. The shrine was protecting him, so the traveler stayed perfectly still. Minutes passed. Then an hour. The scratching stopped. The creature was gone. Or so he thought. At sunrise, the traveler finally opened the door. The forest was empty. The river was calm. And there was no sign of Nure-Onna. But something was lying on the ground outside. The baby. The traveler stared at it. Then he realized something. There were no footprints around it. No tracks. Nothing. It was almost as if the creature had never been there. The traveler ran back to the village and told everyone what had happened. But nobody believed him. Until they found something strange near the river. Massive tracks. Not human. Not quite snake-like either. They disappeared into the water. And from that day on, the villagers warned travelers never to walk near the river alone after dark. So why does Nure-Onna appear as a woman? That's one of the strangest parts of the legend. Some interpretations suggest that her human appearance is what makes her dangerous. If she looked like a giant snake from the beginning, nobody would go near her. But a woman standing beside a river? Someone who looks like she needs help? That's different. The story plays on something very human. Trust. You see someone in trouble. You want to help. You don't expect the person asking for your help to be the monster. And that's exactly what makes Nure-Onna so terrifying. But there's another possibility. Nure-Onna may have developed from older fears surrounding snakes in dangerous waterways. For people living near rivers and coastlines, water wasn't just beautiful. It could be deadly. One wrong step, one sudden current, and you could disappear. So perhaps stories like Nure-Onna were created to explain the dangers hiding around these places. But the legends didn't stop there. Over time, Nure-Onna became something more than a monster. She became a warning. A warning that appearances can be deceiving. Because the person who looks like they need your help might be the person you're supposed to fear. And that's where the story becomes really disturbing. Imagine you're walking beside a river tonight. You hear water moving. You look ahead, and there's a woman standing alone. Her clothes are completely soaked. Her hair covers her face, and she's holding something in her arms. Then she looks at you, and slowly, she asks you to come closer. You take one step, then another, and finally she holds out the baby. Please, hold him, would you? Because according to the legend, the moment you take it, you might realize the truth. The baby is impossibly heavy. The woman is no longer smiling. And somewhere behind you, you hear something enormous moving through the water. You turn around, nothing. You look back at the woman. She's gone. Only the river remains. But then you hear it, a quiet sound from behind you. Hiss! And suddenly, you realize something. Maybe the scariest part of the Nure-Onna legend isn't the monster. Maybe it's the question the story leaves behind. If you met her tonight, would you recognize the monster before it was too late?